Hello. So today we are going to be talking about how to start creating shading, also known as value. So make sure you check out the handout that I added in Classroom for you. Okay, so we're going to start with a value sphere. So we're going to create an imaginary light source. So let's pretend that the light is coming from right here. You don't have to add that. That's just so you can visualize it. Okay, so if the light's coming from here, that means that my sphere would be highlighted here, that I would have shadow here, and I'd have a cast shadow right over here. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and switch out my regular drawing pencil for a 3B pencil, which means that the lead is a little bit softer, which allows me to blend. Also notice that the outline of my sphere is really light and hatchy so that I can blend it out really easily later. Okay, so I know that this part's going to be lighter. I'm going to use almost like the side of my pencil, and instead of going in a straight line, since I'm shading a sphere, I'm going to just kind of block in the value in an ellipse-like motion, kind of like this instead of this. I'm also using the side of my pencil and keeping it really, really light and going with the grain of the form instead of straight. My sphere is round, so I'm kind of like hugging the curve of the sphere, almost like two crescent moons. So, and it's okay that it's a little sloppy right now because I'm going to blend it out later. Okay, so I have a really nice light overall value. Now I know that my shadow is going to be over here, so I'm going to start getting a little bit darker where I know that that shadow would be, where the light's not reaching. And I really want that to transitionally fade into here, so I'm going to apply a little bit less pressure, and just kind of fade that in just a little bit. I'm going to blend in a minute, but just make it a little easier. And then I'm going to give myself even a little more pressure here. I can really start to see that shadow taking place. And then I also want my cast shadow. So if my light's coming from here and this is my sphere, my cast shadow is going to be right over here. Now cast shadows have different values too. So where there's absolutely no light hitting, I'm going to have a darker shadow, and then I'm going to really gently fade until the shadow almost looks like it disappears. Now I want the shadow to look like it belongs with the sphere, so I'm not going to do straight lines because it's a curved object. I'm going to make it look like the object is a little bit round. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, almost just kind of like a stretched out ellipse. And I haven't blended yet, so we haven't done that piece of it. Also, a lot of times there'll be like a little reflection from the table, so I'm going to leave this tiny little sliver right here for reflection. Right there. Okay, so, and I could get even darker if I wanted to with something like an 8B pencil that has, even softer lead. So maybe we'll just do a little really dark shadow right there, right in that sliver where the light really wouldn't be seen. Okay, so next I'm going to use my blending tool. So this is called a tortillon, and you can rent one if you don't have one. A lot of drawing pencil sets will come with them, but if you don't have one, you can definitely rent one. And just like when we're working with the pencil, I want you to work in an ellipse. So not straight lines, but we're trying to blend out, and you should see that it starts to blend out for you. Notice also how we're going to start eliminating that outline. We really don't need it anymore. The value itself makes up the sphere. So I'm going to start fading the value into the outline so that I only have the form. I don't have that outline anymore. I don't need it. Real objects don't actually have outlines. It's something that we have in our head because we're so used to drawing shapes. Now I haven't really given myself much of a highlight, so I'm definitely gonna go back in there for that. I've really been focusing on blocking things in, but I can always erase. Same thing with the shadow. And with the shadow, I'm just ever so slightly around the edges, just gonna fade it out even a little bit more. So it looks really, really gradual. It's pretty relaxing, I think. And shading is a skill. So, if this is your first time trying to blend or shade, please don't stress out if it, doesn't look quite how you wanted it to the first time. Give it some practice, give it some time. Takes a while to master. Okay. So I do want some more highlighting here. So I'm going to take my pencil eraser and create some highlighting here. And I'm going to blend that back out just a little bit so it's not quite so harsh, but moving even my eraser around in an ellipse. So really gently. And I can wipe this. If I get too much lead on here, I can wipe it off with a tissue, or even like over here, you can kind of do it that thing. So that's the idea, guys. I'm not quite done yet. I would probably keep working on it and keep blending out. But that gives you the right idea. So good luck, and I'm excited to see what you're able to come up with on your own. Talk to you later.